What's up, Guardians? Profane here. Thanks for checking out the video. Today we'll be checking out the new Strand trace rifle called the Unsworn. The Lodestar might be the newest exotic trace rifle, but this legendary trace rifle might be an even bigger influence in Heresy. The Unsworn has been made available with the release of the Sundered Doctrine dungeon, which sends players into a journey beneath a pyramid within Savathun's throne world. All of the weapons from this dungeon have shown a lot of potential, primarily because of their unique intrinsic trait called subjugation, which will cause the shots from this weapon to explode whenever hitting weakened targets. But against stronger yellow bar targets, the shots will cause enemies to become exhausted, which reduces your enemy's damage output, so it works a lot like Sever does. You can tell if an enemy is exhausted because they'll have a red glow cast over them. And whenever used against Guardians, these weapons will gain increased flinch resistance. So there's a lot of benefits in having this origin trait, both in Crucible and in PVE. The Unsworn isn't the only strong weapon out of this dungeon, but it stands out as one of the must-haves because of its world-class options of weapon traits, along with its synergy with our new artifact. This is an adaptive framed Strand trace rifle that fires out at 1000 RPM. Because it is an adaptive framed weapon, it's going to have improved stability with very minimal recoil, making it a lot easier for you to maintain sustained precision damage. And for a trace rifle, it's got great base range and great reload speed. Where things get really interesting is this weapon's third and fourth column perk options. Within its third column, this weapon can drop with rewind rounds, which would be an amazing option that would refill the magazine based on the number of hits landed, reducing your need to reload. There's also Stats for All and Thresh, but then there's Subsistence, which returns a portion of the magazine back after landing a final blow. With the enhanced version of this, you could completely remove the need to reload whenever chunking through groups of red bar enemies. But there's also Shoot to Loot, which is a phenomenal option, and it's really underused throughout the community. This allows you to shoot special and heavy ammo breaks to instantly pick them up, which automatically reloads your magazine and the magazine of all equipped weapons. You can also shoot Orbs of Power to instantly gain their benefits, so if you're using weapon surges, you could easily maintain them, but if you're using something like Recuperation, you could use this to instantly heal. I would honestly recommend going with Shoot to Loot over top of any of the previously mentioned traits, but where I'm torn is with Tear. This is a new Strand weapon trait that creates a burst of Sever after final blows. After enemies have been severed, they will deal less damage, and since that counts as a Strand debuff, they become subject to the effects of things like Facet of Courage whenever using Prismatic. In its fourth column, this weapon offers Elemental Honing, which works a lot like Bait and Switch, but with your elements. Dealing damage with unique sources of energy grant a stacking bonus in damage that can max out at 40%. But in order to achieve that maximum threshold, you would need to deal damage with all 5 different energy sources: Arc, Solar, Void, Strand, and Stasis. There's also Hatchling, which will give us those little green strand rats to seek out and damage nearby enemies. We've got Detonator Beam, which is another new trait, and that's going to trigger small explosions as you lay down sustained fire. Each explosion deals 266 points of base damage, so it's just slightly more powerful than Firefly, so this could prove to be a really strong option whenever paired with rewind rounds or Subsistence. We've also got 2 amazing damage bonus options with Bait and Switch and Target Lock. With options like Shoot to Loot, rewind rounds, and Subsistence, we'd have a much easier time sustaining the benefits of Target Lock, and Bait and Switch has been one of the most reliable options when it comes to optimal damage, as it allows you to rotate through your entire loadout and gain a 30% bonus in damage in the process. And with Shoot to Loot refilling all of your equipped weapons, you're looking at one hell of an effective trace rifle to be able to add into some of those already existing damage builds. I'm not sure how this thing does in the Crucible, but when it comes to PvE, it's an extraordinary pickup. I know trace rifles aren't everybody's preferred choice of combat, but for those players who enjoy the gameplay and performance of trace rifles, then the Unsworn is about to become your new best friend. As I mentioned before, this trace rifle will have some unique synergy with our new artifact. With Unraveling Orbs active, this weapon will gain Unraveling after collecting an orb. If we were to be using Shoot to Loot, we'd be able to give ourselves an easy way to collect those. With Disruptor Break equipped, enemies who become severed or exhausted will deal even less damage. This weapon has the ability of applying both Sever and Exhaustion, so everybody's damage is getting neutered. There's also Horde Shuttle, so whenever we deal continuous damage to unrivaled enemies, a threadling will be created. This would even be in addition to threadlings created by hatchling, giving us a great source of free damage. The Unsworn will make a great option on just about any build here in Heresy, but there's one loadout that will really benefit from the use of this weapon, and that's the Cenotaph. This Warlock exotic helps generate special and heavy ammo for its wielder and teammates, and it gradually returns ammo to any equipped trace rifle. And with a combination of shoot to loot and bait and switch, you'd be set for maximum damage output. Or you could go with detonation beam and tear for maximum crowd control efficiency. But if you haven't gotten the chance to check out this bad boy, then you need to hit up the Sundered Doctrine and get yourself one, because this is an absolute game changer, a must-have trace rifle. With that said, I wish you all the best and luck throughout your journeys in Heresy. Let me know how those attempts at the new dungeon have been going, and what your thoughts about this new trace rifle are. Let me know down in the comments below. Thank you as always for checking out the video. If you enjoyed and found it helpful, then be sure to hit that like button below, along with the subscribe button if you're new. Both are greatly appreciated, and both really do help support the channel. And until next time, Guardians, this has been Profane, wishing you all some happy hunting.